So you're here to boost your vocabulary and sound more professional, right? Well, you're in the right place. Take a look at this vocabulary. It looks hard, but by the end of today's class, you will be using them freely in your conversation and IELTS answers. Hi everyone, I'm your IELTS tutor Jack, and welcome back to another lesson where I help you improve your English and get ready for the IELTS exam. Before we start today's class, just remember I really appreciate your likes, comments and questions. I love you to be a part of the IELTS Plus community. And if you're not, hit that subscribe button. Today's lesson is really important, and I think it could be one of the most useful lessons when preparing for your exam. I am giving you general use vocabulary that you can use in any answer or any conversation, but they are high frequency, meaning we use them a lot, and they sound very professional and upgrade the words you already use. I've actually been promising this lesson to my students here in my IELTS Academy, so a very important lesson and one that I hope helps you all. Our first word is one I use all the time, and that is detrimental. Detrimental. Detrimental is the same meaning as harmful or damaging, or very often my students say something has a bad effect on something, but you can just say it is detrimental to something. Sounds really professional. The common collocation for detrimental is it's detrimental to our health, detrimental to the environment, detrimental to the ecosystem. You can probably hear already that if you're taking the IELTS exam, it really fits well into part 3 where you're talking about society and bigger issues. Let's try answering an IELTS question. Is pollution a big problem in your country? Yes, I think pollution is a huge problem in our country. The air quality particularly is very detrimental to our health. The next word is conventional, and this has the same meaning as normal or standard. So of course, a lot of my students use normal a lot. Here is a nice professional upgrade. Common collocations would be conventional clothing, conventional habits, conventional behavior, or the one I like most, conventional way of doing something. So let's see it in an answer. How do people usually spend their free time in your country? In my country, the conventional way of spending free time is to simply watch Netflix and have a few drinks at home. Number 3 sounds wonderful. Analogous. Analogous. Analogous sounds really hard, but it's an upgrade on a word like similar or comparable. So I think you're very familiar with saying A is similar to B. Well, you could say A is analogous to B. The two common ways of using this would be something is analogous to something, or these two things are analogous. Let's look at it in an answer. Do you like your hometown? Yes, I like my home city, but I think it's analogous to living in any city. Number 4 is one I use a lot, and that's Myriad. Myriad. Not easy to say, but again, quite a common word. And this can be used instead of a lot or many. Really common, right? We say a lot all the time. So we could say a myriad of something. Common collocations would be a myriad of options, a myriad of choices, a myriad of places. Let's look at it in an answer. What can you do in your hometown? There's a myriad of coffee shops, so I think going to have a coffee is a very common activity in my hometown. Number 5 is one of my favorites actually, because it's quite an easy one to use, and that's Paramount. Paramount has the same meaning as important, more specifically, very important. So I think it's best to look at the common patterns, which is something is paramount, same as something is very important, or it's paramount that we verb. I really like that. It's paramount that we verb. It's very important that we do something. Let's look at it in an example. How can we help the environment? It's paramount that we recycle our waste and keep the environment clean. The next word is one that I hear so much, particularly on podcasts that I listen to, and that is tremendously. This is an adverb, and it just means very or extremely. You can use it with any adjective, really. It's tremendously hot today. It was tremendously good. It was tremendously interesting. It goes with so many adjectives, so I think it's a great one to do a simple switch with the word very, which I'm sure you use a lot. Let's look at it in an IELTS answer. How have phones changed in the past 10 years? Phones nowadays are tremendously different to phones of the past. The next word is ubiquitous. Pronunciation is tricky with this one. Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. And this is used instead of saying something is everywhere, it's very common. This simply is just used in the phrase something is ubiquitous. So I think the easiest switch would be if you use everywhere. If you say coffee shops are everywhere, you could simply say coffee shops are ubiquitous. Let's look at it in an IELTS answer. What kind of food do you normally eat when you eat out? In my hometown, Chinese restaurants are ubiquitous, so a very common choice for me is to go to the local Chinese restaurant. Our next word is monumental. This can be used instead of great or huge. It's often used with words like effort, a monumental effort, a huge effort. A monumental task, a monumental waste of time. Those are really common collocations. So let's see how we can use this in an answer. Tell me about a time you experienced great difficulty. I would say passing my university exam took a monumental effort. We're getting towards the end now. This word is renowned. I often hear the word famous in IELTS answers. It really often comes up when you're talking about food, society, country, places. So a quick switch to renowned will boost your vocabulary range. A common collocation would be to say a person, place, or thing is renowned, or you could say a place is renowned for something. Let's show that in an IELTS answer. Where would you like to live in your country? The Lake District in England is renowned for its natural beauty, so I'd love to live there. Finally, we've got the word consequently. I think this is a fairly easy word, you're definitely familiar with it, but do you overuse therefore or so? Could you replace it with consequently with the same meaning? There are no particular collocations for this, but it's just a perfect replacement for when you have a cause and effect instead of using therefore. Let's look at that in one more answer. Would you prefer to live in a house or a flat? For me personally, I love to have a big garden for my family. Consequently, I would like to live in a house. Okay, those are 10 words that you can start using in conversation or hopefully in your IELTS answers. They're not easy, it will take time to practice, but write down this list and start using them proactively. That's very important. If you enjoyed this lesson, I would really appreciate your like so that this lesson can spread to other IELTS students around the world. Comment, give me your examples and I'll check them for you. And finally, subscribe and be part of the IELTS Plus community. I hope you have a wonderful week this week. Study very hard, and I'll see you next week for another lesson. Bye bye.